This episode of the Totally Rad Show is brought to you by Lucha Libre. Grab your mask and get directly into the ring with Los Heroes of Lucha Libre. Today on TRS, we battle it out in Enslaved, Odyssey to the West.
On today's Totally Rad Show, we're talking about the video game Enslaved, which is from game developer Ninja Theory, who did Heavenly Sword.
Team Ninja?
Ninja Theory. Did very different.
Yeah.
Team Ninja did the new Last Metroid and Ninja Gaiden. These guys started with Kung Fu Chaos.
Yep.
And just did Heavenly Sword, which we talked about. It was one of the early PS3 titles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And in that game, they established a relationship with one Andy Serkis, who we know from The Lord of the Rings. And in this game, he even has a bigger role. He's, again, doing voiceover and motion capture, but he also co-directed a lot of the cutscenes. And this game is about a enslaved, brutish guy named Monkey who crash lands on Earth, and in doing so becomes enslaved to another captive on the ship via a headband of power. And they have to sort of go through a post-apocalyptic America and figure out a way to get off the planet. So, third-person action game, much like Heavenly Sword. You know, Ninja Theory is also doing the next Devil May Cry, which was announced at TGS just recently, which is pretty interesting stuff, a big redesign there. Third-person action game, it borrows a lot from Heavenly Sword, where you have the color-coded bad guys attacking you. It also adds in some command structure where you get to actually tell your AI buddy, the girl who's in control of you, you can tell her to do certain things at certain times. So, Alex, I don't remember if you loved Heavenly Sword or not.
Didn't love it.
What is your take on Enslaved?
Well, first off, I think this is some of the best writing and acting in any video game I've ever seen. I mean, to me, the girl, when he wakes up and has the headband on, and the girl is kind of telling him apologetically why she had to do that, and this is like the first 5 minutes of the game, so it's not a spoiler. That scene, watching that scene, was like watching an amazing movie. I was like, I want to see the rest of I want to see this movie.
I couldn't agree more.
It was unbelievable, breathtaking.
And I think that that was a feature of Heavenly Sword, and it's clearly something they put a lot of value in.
And rightfully so, because it sucks you directly in to the gameplay. A lot of really great gameplay elements. I love the idea of like her doing a decoy thing and then running around. I love that you have to like catch the dragonfly and then she hacks it and now it's this like sentry bird for you. So there's a lot of really great stuff. My only big issue was the combat was zero fun for me.
Really?
Zero fun. It was smash and pray, and it was just like, and I was upgrading all the stuff. The shooting out of your staff was like ridiculously useless. I mean, you had to use it at times, but other than that, it was like, forget about it. The traversal stuff was that stuff that I hate, which is, here's a giant box, and you know you have to get up the box. Oh, you can't jump up that way. You have to turn around, square up, walk up, and then hit the button. Otherwise, you just roll into the bottom, even though you know you're supposed to go up there.
Yeah.
I hate that stuff. It's like, let me go wherever I want to go. Never felt danger when I was climbing. But some of the gameplay, sort of the puzzle elements of like, well, that guy's there, so I have to watch out for these guys. I can have her do her thing, and then this, and then that, and then I got to save her with the thing. That stuff was all very fun. But I think the story and the acting is worth playing this game.
Yeah, I agree that the story is the strongest element of the game. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to finish it because I had to pass it off to you guys, but I know you did. So I'm curious if the end of the story, not to say what it is, but I'm curious if it pays off in a satisfying way and if it's as fun as the presentation throughout.
Story-wise, it is, in the end, it is very derivative of a popular science fiction film.
Well, and they're out in front with that.
Oh, okay.
It's inspired by.
Yeah.
I mean, Odyssey to the West is the subtitle, and it's like, you know, that is
inspired by what?
That short Journey into the West.
Oh, I don't. No. It's inspired by. I mean, it's a lot like a very popular science fiction movie that we all.
Well, we'll talk about that offline.
I don't know what to say. Yeah.
What? Yeah.
I don't have to say because I don't want to spoil anything.
Well, go.
I'm afraid. But Andy Serkis stars in this as well.
Right. In real life.
In real
you see
life.
visions of him throughout the game.
And there's video.
Yeah.
So the game is in my wheelhouse. This is my genre. So I started off loving. And I basically loved the game. There's a couple of things I didn't like, which I'll go into. But yes, as you guys said, the acting and the story amazing. This is how you open a game.
Yeah.
Incredible, breathtaking sequence where things are revealed. It's not a dialogue between the Republic and the whatever about the
global agenda.
Global agenda, the economy of this world, and then we're playing a character.
Although not the game global agenda, just
they finally get
the theory.
They understand cinematic storytelling, not video game storytelling, and then it's about character, not plot. Everything. This plot is just a MacGuffin. We slaves. We have to get out west. But we're seeing it through the eyes of the relationship between the monkey dude and the girl, and later on this other guy. This game is very much a sister game to Beyond Good and Evil, which I know we're getting a little HD action.
Very much so, yes.
But it's very similar to that. I love that there aren't any. It's not just the same thing and different. It's not just pop open the door and beat up some guys or shoot some guys. The staff, by the way, as you progress in the game, there's entire shooter levels. Like it's very aligned on that mechanic. I really enjoy the combat. I felt very in control, and I had to use skill, not just button mashing. But what's great is that the design of the levels were based around moments and sequences. This is going to be the sequence where you have to get over here,
Yeah.
This is going to be the sequence where, did you guys all ride the cloud?
Yeah, the cloud's awesome.
I want a cloud game. The cloud, just using it is amazing. The cloud chase sequences, where you have to chase down something that you do a couple times, amazing.
I don't know. I thought they could have gone +1 to the specifically the chase sequence. Like the cloud part where you first get it and there's like jumps and speed boosts and stuff. Awesome. But then the chase moments, it's like, well, just get close and push B. I wish there had been.
There's a little bit
more.
longer and things are falling and you have to, crazy. Did you guys all play the sequence where
the truck?
You have to follow along? Like that's what I mean. Like it's the sequence where that happens, and every level there's a gimmick to it. I agree though. The traversal it's not like Uncharted or the latest Prince of Persia. It's like the traversal in a beat 'em up game, not. It felt like they ended there, didn't start there. They didn't start with, your character can move around and do anything, and then we're putting objects in your way. It felt like, here are the things that he has to do, and you get sucked to them whenever you hit a button.
It's more than that. You literally are not allowed to jump to your death.
Right.
You can't jump wrong.
Yeah.
It just waits until you push the correct direction and the jump.
I thought that was interesting, though.
It's interesting but frustrating when you see something below you and you go, I can make that.
Yeah.
This character can do that.
But you don't.
You're not
Obviously, you don't
me.
want to do it if the game doesn't want you to go there. It like makes it easy.
Is it oversimplification? Is it?
That's not one button. What was that?
The other Prince of Persia game. It could have been that.
Bayonetta, yeah.
It could have been.
But that's not.
It could have been the Prince of Persia, the second to last one, where we just held it and we ran. It could have been that. I don't know why they didn't just.
It basically was that to me, because
Yeah.
I was just sort of like, I would just sort of rotate towards where I think he's supposed to go. I wouldn't even see the thing I was supposed to go to, because it didn't matter.
Well, it
so I
made
would
you
just go
able to
sort of
do
like
it.
this.
You could do it in much quicker and more rhythm, almost.
I want it to be that. What you just said sounds great, but
That's how Prince of Persia was.
But there was exactly. But in this, there wasn't a rhythm to it. It felt like I would get sucked to a thing, then I got magnified to that place, and then magnified to that. Like it didn't have a wonderful sensation.
What did you think, Jeff?
Well, I found a lot to like in the game, and I agree with you 100% that the best thing about the game is the presentation of the story. And you're right, that opening sequence is one of the coolest in games, and it's cool because not just because of what you are doing, but because there's moments of funny, there's moments of thrilling, it comes out in a very cinematic way. And kudos to that. I think there's a dip though when we kind of move away from that for a little while, and you're just sort of doing rote video game levels, where it's like, okay, well, there's 3 sentries here, you have to sneak up and get them. It becomes less about those great story moments for a period of time. I found the combat to be about middling. I found it to be fun enough, and I like how they brought over from Heavenly Sword that color. They would change color to kind of signify what the enemies were going to do.
When you level, they do that, but yeah. You have to pay
You
for
have
that.
to pay for that.
But it's an easy one to pay for.
It's like the
It's like the
500.
first, yeah, it's
Yeah.
like 5,000 gulbs or whatever the fuck they are.
Gulbs. Yes. You know, I think this game is. I had seen it a few times at trade shows. I went to that Namco event I told you guys about, and I thought it was just going to be a train wreck. I thought it was going to be terrible, but it came out a lot better than that, and I think it's a game that shouldn't be overlooked. I think people can have a lot of fun with it, and it gives me it encourages me a lot about Devil May Cry, because a lot of people are in uproar about the redesign that they're doing on that. But I think it's definitely worth playing. I'm very curious about this whole concept of, it's not a platformer, because there's no platforming is just a means of getting from point A to point B. There's no challenge and there's no danger, because you almost can't go wrong that way. But
there are thrills.
There's thrills and there's something
And that's what
fun about
Uncharted
that.
is the same. Uncharted really is that same way. But Uncharted in combat sequences, you can use platforming and that makes it fun. But when you're just like have to get from this roof to that roof, everything glows, and you just hit the button and you get there. You know? But the last Prince of Persia did that right. And the end of this game, you can die. There's flames coming. There's traps. So
Flames from the side of your face?
They do make skill involved in the platforming. At the
Amazing.
end, it takes a long time to get
So
there.
I think we will all say worth playing.
Absolutely.
Definitely worth a try. Beep. So, Daniel Trachtenberg
Is over there.
is over there. Jeff Canada, sponsor?
Yeah, one of the things I don't get to talk about enough on this show is my love of professional wrestling. I genuinely love it.
It's true.
So I'm excited that we're sponsored by Heroes of the Lucha Libre.
Correct.
Heroes del Ring.
Yes.
Lucha Libre is awesome. It's the guys that wear the masks, and there's a huge tradition, and this is, to my knowledge, the first video game that really focuses on that. The cool thing about this game is it's bilingual, because this is like a Spanish language wrestling thing. So the whole game is bilingual. You can play in English or Spanish, which is freaking awesome. And there's like all the moves, all the guys. You can customize your character. So like part of the coolest thing about Lucha Libre
red mask.
is you get to make the mask you want. You get to like put tats on your dude.
Cool.
Awesome. So you can start following the game by becoming a fan on Facebook by going to facebook.com/ what is it? AAA Heroes, or following the heroes on Twitter at AAA Heroes. And you get all the latest news and video updates that way. You should also pre-order the game by October 12th, and you'll get an authentic AAA, AAA licensed Lucha mask, so you can wear. I actually own 2 Lucha masks that I bought in Mexico.
Amazing. So also wanted to say thanks to Greg for giving us the background. If you would like to have your background featured on the show, please feel free to send it to fans@totallyradshow.com. And also to check out all of these backgrounds, download them for yourself, head over to flickr.com/totallyradshow.
Yeah, we'd love to start using a different background every single day, but that requires you guys to send us lots more backgrounds. So get to work.
All right, well, that's it for this week's edition of the Totally Rad Show. I'm Alex Albrecht.
Jeff Canada.
And I'm Dan Trachtenberg.
See you next week.
Coming up tomorrow, new segment, Devil's Radvocate. You don't want to miss it.
Happily ever after. You don't get that with TV, because next week you gotta have something else. Next season you gotta have something else. Repercussions! Repercussions, sir!
There are more people making video games now than have ever been in history, and that is a fact that I'm making up right now.
The gentleman from Philadelphia clearly is advocating for giants.
I believe I've heard enough. I'm ready to make my
judgment.
Okay.
of the possible 20 points arbitrarily.